To talk with Jay. It's time to talk with Jay Foss. It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of
raising your inner voice.
Wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of experience?
With Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people! Welcome back once again to Raising Your Inner Voice here. And what we do on this program is we do some deep dives. We dive deep into your being, the core, the essence of who you are. And we do it each and every Sunday evening. We take this liminal space. It's no longer the weekdays. It's no longer the weekend. It's this space in between. And we take this space in between to figure out what it is that makes you tick. What is it that makes you come alive? That's many, many, many things that we do here on Raising Your Inner Voice. The topic for this evening is overthinking. And how do we prevent the overthinking that we get consumed with? So that way you can actually take a chance to listen to your inner voice. Would love to have you join the conversation. The phone number to dial 617-843-5393. Or you know the rules. You can just comment. You can follow along online as you see fit. But would love to have your voice in this conversation, however it is that you choose to add to the conversation. You're welcome to leave me voicemails. You're welcome to send me, shoot me a text message to 617-843-5393. And we'll make sure to get your comments on air. But yeah, overthinking. How do you prevent overthinking from actually engaging with your own life? How is it that you can believe more in yourself and not let overthinking get in the way of living your best life, living this life? This is the only life that we have. This is the only life that we have. So how do you actually stay in tune with that? Stay in touch with the fact that this is the only life that we have. I know personally, whenever death is around the corner, that's a good reminder for me to actually make sure that I'm not overthinking things. And that's anything from big picture items like what am I doing in this next chapter or phase of my life to the minutia of how am I spending my time, my days each and every day. How am I spending my time? And am I spending it on things that I want to be spending it on? Or maybe my gears and wheels are just turning too much and I get caught in this overthinking paradigm, this overthinking shift. And I don't want to be stuck there. So instead of overthinking, what are some ways that we can actually stay in touch with ourselves, stay in tuned with ourselves? Are you tuning in? Are you tuning into yourself and making sure that your inner voice is heard? Those are some of the questions that I'm posing to you this Sunday evening. Yeah, I I personally end up getting caught in overthinking about things. And one of the ways that I can get out of that overthinking, get out of questioning, is through taking time, taking some deep breaths, just being and letting space happen. And when that space is happening, when the space is happening in my life, I'm able to think clearer. I'm able to listen to myself better. And with overthinking, I mean, this is something that's good to apply to oneself. It's not the best thing to apply to other people. Other people might be thinking differently than you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're overthinking. I think it's easier to gauge ourselves when we're overthinking. Because just because someone else thinks differently doesn't mean that they're overthinking it. But we are the only thermometer for ourselves, for our inner life, for this life, right? And in having that inner thermometer, we're able to gauge and figure out if we are tuning in, if we're listening to that deeper wisdom that I think we all have. I believe that we all have this deeper knowing. And the question is, are we tuning in? Are we taking the time not just to think on the surface level of things? Because I think that that's what I'm really getting at with this phrase of overthinking. It's more on the surface level, not diving deep. And how do we get deeper into ourselves? How is it that we can spend more time living our lives out in the best way possible? And have you ever felt like you're wasting time? I mean, we're all wasting time to some degree, but in a negative sense of wasting time, like, what am I ruminating over this for? Why do I keep coming back to this same issue or possibility in my life? Would love to have you join the conversation and find out what your thoughts are about this pattern of overthinking. Because I think it is something that we all tap into at time. From time to time, we tap into this process of overthinking instead of listening to ourselves better, doing what we do best, living out our deeper, I mean, I almost want to use the word calling, right? Living out this calling in our lives that we could be tapping into. We could be having a fuller experience if we aren't overthinking it. If we aren't caught up in the ways in which we are caught up. It's hard to do, right? I mean, because our thoughts are just constant. They're constantly streaming in and out of our minds. So taking the step back, taking a breather, getting in touch, tuning in is a good thing to do to make sure not only that we're in touch with ourselves, but why are we in touch with ourselves? And are we living out from that deeper space and place? Are we able to make an impact in our own lives and have that ripple out into our loved ones' lives? Because we're no one's an island. I mean, this is we all have impacts in people's lives, particularly those whom we love. And having that relationship, having that expression of our inner life, I think is how we're actually able to connect with other people better. So that's why overthinking is not a good stance and not something that we want to be doing. But thinking in and of itself is obviously a good thing. We have thoughts for a reason. We all tap into our brain waves in our brain cells, using them in an appropriate way. But there are times where we can get carried away with it. We can get caught off track and ruminate in something that isn't worth our time. And when we do that, when we overthink, we aren't tied into and tuned into our deeper life. And that's, I think, where we want to be. We want to be in touch with ourselves, right? I mean, all creatures, I would say, want to be in touch with themselves. I don't know that other animals have to worry about this overthinking aspect. Certainly, it doesn't seem so. Are we the only ones who have to deal with this? That would be a fun little experiment to try. Checking in and seeing if other animals have. I mean, we all know that they're more instinctual, certainly. But yeah, I mean, as human beings, we certainly have this tendency towards overthinking and just wallowing in wasting energy on things that don't matter. They just, at the end of the day, overthinking on things means that I'm spending my time on something that doesn't necessarily matter. I'm focused in, I'm tuned in to things that have no relevance. And they have no deeper meaning for me or for you. This evening on Raising Your Inner Voice, we're talking all about overthinking and how it may not be the best thing to do. I would love to get your comments and input on ways that you can get out of overthinking when you're trapped and caught in this cycle. What are ways that you break free of the cycle? How do you tune in to your inner world? Would love to hear your comments. The phone number to dial 617-843-5393 is the number to call. But we happen to have a comment online. Lisa says squirrels seem to overthink every time they cross the street. I almost hit 3 a day because they stop in the middle and go back and forth. So true, Lisa. Yeah, maybe we aren't the only animals who overthink this life, this world. Squirrels certainly seem to with their back and forth. Yeah, so true. So very true. Thanks for commenting in. Yeah, what are ways that you use to break out, to break free of overthinking? Maybe I'm overthinking. Wouldn't that be quite the problem, right? Yeah. I mean, taking the moments, taking the deep breaths, right? Getting into a groove of living this life. Recently, I've had some experiences where I haven't come face to face with death myself, but I've been surrounded by a couple of people who have moved on. And those moments really make me realize that I do waste time overthinking on things. And it's like, just get it done, like live this life. Make sure that you are fully present and aware of what I'm doing. And it's a good wake-up call. It's a good reminder to me not to overthink things and to do what I have to do. But to know deeper than that, that what I'm doing isn't everything. I'm not a human doing, I'm a human being. So the being is that, in fact, I am good enough. And you are good enough. In ways in which we express that, ways in which we can actually acknowledge that, is refreshing. And taking a step back from overthinking is really the best way of breaking free of that cycle. Basically, I'm asking, what are ways in which you can get out of your own head? And it's funny how it happens almost instantaneously, right? Getting out of your head, getting out of your thought process, clearing your mind, it's poof, you're out of it when it happens. But I don't know that we can give a formula to make that happen. Lisa's chiming back in. You have to just say what will be will be. You have no control over what happens to a point. You can control your reaction, though. I overthink when I have plans, especially big ones. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to reread that one because that's really beneficial. You have to just say what will be, will be. You have no control over what happens to a point. Yeah. And I think that's right. You can control your reaction, though. I overthink when I have plans, especially big ones. Yeah. Yeah, making plans is when I too can get caught up in my thoughts of what I want to happen as opposed to paying attention to reality. And that's where that inner voice, I think, is paying more attention to reality. That's when people start talking about their gut feeling. And I knew all along that so-and-so and that this was this way. And that despite my thinking, despite my feelings even, is the way in which I can get more in touch with reality. You have no control over what happens to a point. Yeah. Certainly in looking at our world right now, there's plenty of things going on that it's like, I have no control over that. But you can control your reaction, to reality, to the way that the world is operating and working. Absolutely. And your reaction, how you respond to things, is a reflection of your inner world, right? So if you're getting mad and frustrated and blowing up about things, that's because you feel tension and frustration inside. And if you're meeting reality in an adaptable way, if you're meeting it in a gentle way, then that too is an expression of your inside world. I'm going to bring this back to the overthinking aspect of, I like that, Lisa. You just have to say what will be, will be. Yeah, that's really good. Dear listener, we're discussing overthinking on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening, and I'm curious about ways in which you get out of overthinking things. Would love to have you join the conversation. Feel free to tippity tap tap on the clickety clack clack. Type in the comment field is a way that you can join the conversation. You also can join the conversation by giving me a call. 617-843-5393 is the phone number to dial. We're going to be back in just a moment talking about overthinking on Raising Your Inner Voice.
Stay with us as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. If you're replacing the windows in your home, please see the Anderson 400 series windows on display at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire. The Anderson 400 is attractive, durable, energy efficient, and reasonably priced. Remember, Anderson is the most trusted name in windows. See the Anderson 400 at any of our 3 locations. That's North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber. We If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
And we are back on the program. This evening, we're talking all about overthinking and how it might get in the way of living your life. What are times that you do overthink? What are ways in which you get out of your overthinking thought process? What wakes you up to reality? What gets you tuned back in to your inner voice? Feel free to join the conversation. Lisa chiming back in. I have a concert in Boston and I have anxiety over it already. Oh no! Where am I going to park? Will I get in line on time to get up front because it's general admission? It may seem small to other people, but I'm freaking out. Lisa, this is very relatable. And I think that most things that we overthink are small things that we blow up into something bigger, right? Yeah, I mean, whether it's attending a concert, whether it's trying to figure out all the details that we're not there and ready for yet. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't plan, right? I'm not saying that we shouldn't go ahead and think through things logically, but it's the overthinking, it's the ruminating on something that isn't helpful, because as far as like, where are you going to park? Things like that. It's like, well, when you get there, you'll see where the parking spaces are. Or if you really need to plan it out, you could book a parking lot in advance. But there's no sense in causing more anxiety about it for yourself, because you are worth more than the anxiousness, the overthinking thoughts that you're experiencing, right? And the good news is that you are, in fact, worth more than that. And that's where I think taking that step back, taking the deep breath, is beneficial for us all, for all of us, each one of us, to be able to say, no, you know what? I don't need to overthink here. I don't need to freak out about my life. I mean, another way of putting it is I'll know when I get there. And it's funny because we can freak out and think too much about these little details, but we can do the same thing for big things, right? Like, where's my next job? Where's my next paycheck coming from? What am I going to do next? And what I'm doing right now, is it worthwhile? Is it helping people? Is it beneficial to myself and to others? Am I where I want to be? Am I living my life the way in which I want to live it? I mean, even that could be it could be an overthinking process that isn't helpful and that isn't beneficial for any of us, because we're all in this together. And I mean, you know, my crazy viewpoint is that the way in which we affect each other, we can learn from each other. We can, we're not in this life alone. And in listening to each other, we can learn about ourselves. So whether you're going to a concert in Boston or whether you're trying to figure out what the next step in your life is, right? It could be something small. It could be something huge. at some point, I think it goes back to what we talked about last week as far as surrendering goes, right? If we're surrendering to ourselves, if we're surrendering to the universe, if we're surrendering our lives and letting go, not holding too tightly, not overly controlling it, not overly thinking about our lives, then we're able to release it. And therefore, when we release it, we're able to actually be in tune with our life much better. Lisa's comment, yeah, it keeps you on edge and it affects your mood. People can get snappy to those around them. Absolutely. When people are freaking out and overthinking stuff, I mean, all of our tempers get shortened. It's amazing what it does to your mood if you're overthinking something and we're too focused on it. It's almost like, well, we just need to release it. We need to let it go a little bit. And in letting it go, hopefully, we're able to actually get in touch with that deeper wisdom, right? And if we're able to do that, I mean, I talk about it as though it's something simple. At times, it is like the most difficult thing to get outside of your brain, right? To get outside of your perspective of thinking too much. And there are times where when you're overthinking, it's almost a bad rabbit hole that you can keep on going down, that you end up thinking and stewing even more on something instead of releasing and surrendering and letting go and moving forward and living your life. So I encourage you, my friend, go ahead and release it, surrender it, give it up, and listen to yourself all that better. Take the time. Why? Well, because you're worth it. Lisa says swimming helps me or walks outside every day. I'm not an overthinker in general, though. Absolutely. Swimming and walks outside. Yeah, walks outside. Getting outside definitely helps me. Yeah. There is something about getting in touch with nature that really, I mean, it helps my mood. Obviously, it physically makes me feel more alive. And I mean, it's something that even it's a good, it can be a good social activity. I love going on hikes with loved ones and making sure that it's not just myself. Though there are times where solitude walks seem to help me as well. Yeah, getting outside is good. And especially now that in New England we're having such much nicer weather. It lifts the spirits completely. But yeah, getting in touch with ourselves and that it's funny. I wonder if people who go on walks tend to overthink more. Do you think there are people who overthink more when they go on walks? I mean, that would be a shame. That would be horrible. But I'm sure it happens. But going on walks can help clear your mind and get you into a new thought process. I mean, even just appreciating nature and getting some vitamin D, it does clear the mind. And I've heard that actually it helps inspire people, right? So if you're working on something and you go for a walk and then come back to it, you might have a different perspective on whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's something simple or whether it's something extravagant or just a problem that you're struggling with and dealing with and overthinking. getting outside, going for a walk is a great way of alleviating those thoughts. And it makes you realize that, well, Lisa says it makes you realize you're small in this world and the world is much bigger than us. Nature goes on. It has to. It has no choice to survive. We can survive too. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about survival. Absolutely. You are small in this world, and the world is much bigger than us. Nature goes on. It's funny how the world is, it's one of those combinations. You are small in the world, but you could be the world to some people, right? So even though you are small in the world, you are big in your world to anyone that you come into contact with, whether it's through work, whether it's through family, whether it's through simple interactions of someone at the grocery store or any really social setting. You can affect other people. And that can sometimes help get you out of your own thinking, right? Of overthinking stuff. It's really interesting how nature goes on. It has to. It has no choice to survive, and we can survive too. So it's funny how, Lisa, you're drawing inspiration from nature. That wasn't where I was envisioning this conversation going, but it is a survival tool. I mean, nature is extremely adaptable, right? It has no choice but to survive, and we can survive too. I think that we can do more than just survive. We can prosper and grow from that. But I think that overthinking about things is a detriment, right? And that's where having that inspiration, I was going to say, is inspiring. Hello, redundancy. Inspiration is inspiring. Well, thanks, Jay. That's helpful. For anyone just tuning in, we're discussing overthinking on raising your inner voice this evening and having a really fun conversation. Lisa was chiming in that nature is a great way of getting outside of your head, whether or not you're an overthinker. You don't have to be. You might be. You could be. You shouldn't be. Well, no, we won't get into the should, could, or would ofs. But if you are an overthinker and you need some tips to get outside, then perhaps you should take that literally and get outside, both outside of your head and outside in nature. And that's one way of getting in touch with your inner voice. I mean, that's really right. The inner voice is the whole remedy for this overthinking bit. And it's a remedy, I say, because really anything that will get you out of your head. So whether that's meditating, whether that's swimming like Lisa, whether it's going on walks, whether it's just taking some breaths. For some people, it might be prayer. For others, it might be caring for little kids, if that's getting you outside of your overthinking, outside of your head. Getting into your physical body is a good way and a good reminder to get outside of your head. I wonder if there are emotional solutions to this overthinking. Probably, right? I mean, because art and music and anything on the creative side of things are usually an expression of your feelings. So that might be a good way of getting outside of your head and kind of getting on with whatever it is that you need to get on with. To surrender. Back to the surrendering. Yeah. You can go ahead and release what you need to in order to, you know what? There doesn't even need to be a goal. You don't have to release in order to anything. It's because you are worth it. You're good enough. Or so I think. I don't know. Maybe that's an overthought. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to tippity tap tap on the clickety clack clack, or give me a call, 617-843-5393. Having a little fun here on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening, discussing overthinking and wondering if I'm overthinking it for the program. Would love to have you join the conversation. Yeah, getting outside of our heads. What are other ways that you might go ahead and get in touch with yourself? What are other ways? I mean, social activities. I think that getting connected with other people, with other beings, it doesn't even have to be people. It can be just other beings. Creating connections and enjoying those connections are a simple way of getting in touch. Lisa says mosh pits are a great way of getting out of your head. Yeah, getting out of your head and getting rid of overthinking via mosh pits. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because you're getting into the physical realm there, right? It's both funny and true, and it's true because it's funny, and it's funny because it's true that a mosh pit would be a good way of getting out of your head and getting out of overthinking. That's a good one, Lisa. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my. Well, and I think another thing is we don't want to guilt trip ourselves into saying, oh, I should go and do this or I should go and do that in order to get out of my head. Right? It's that you are worthy. It's that you are good enough to go and enjoy a mosh pit. You are worthy and good enough to go and enjoy life. Kimmy is chiming in. Kimmy says, Jay, all this talk about overthinking only has me overthinking. Yeah, I know. It's like one of those, it's a troublesome topic because we can keep on going down the overthinking rabbit hole. Kimmy says, I agree that nature is a good way of grounding and shutting off the ego. I wonder if it's our society that also promotes overthinking. Yeah, that's really where does overthinking come from? Part of it does seem to be external. Part of it does seem to be our society, and the pace at which we have to stay doing the things in which we're doing, which I think does create a lot of overthinking. Yeah, that's a really good insight. And then part of me also says that the overthinking, it's just this innate human thing that it's like the opposite of raising your inner voice. It's raising your shallow voice that's just running around. I mean, right? They call it the monkey mind. Lisa's chiming back in. Haha. Just went to a metal concert and we all just jumped around and bonded to the music. Beautiful. We were a room full of strangers, but best friends by the end. Great crowd. Oh, that's great to hear. Absolutely. Well, and I mean, it makes me realize a couple of things because I used to love going to concerts when I was younger. I don't attend concerts on the regular anymore. And it's making me wonder, well, why? But I know the answer to the why. It's because there's a lot going on at the moment. And by at the moment, I mean easily the last decade. Yeah, but that's great. Went to a metal concert, just jumping around and bonded to the music. Yeah. Well, and it's combining numerous elements there, Lisa. It's a combination of the jumping around, right? So that's the physicality of releasing you from your own mind, and it's the social setting and communal aspect of doing it with other people and bonding to the music, going from a room full of strangers but being best friends by the end of it. Yeah, that's a perfect way of getting out of your head, getting out of your mind, getting into your body, getting into your life. And I like this idea that Kimmy brought up about shutting off the ego. Because I think that, are the ego and overthinking one and the same? It might be, because a lot of overthinking comes from, and again, it can be big or small items, but a lot of overthinking, I think, is influenced by the ego. And society does promote egoic things. Are you making enough money? Are you staying up with where the level of society is going? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you living how you're supposed to be living? And all of that seems like a huge distraction from just being and accepting and releasing and knowing that you are doing what you should be doing. And if you aren't, you can change that. You have autonomy, you have agency, you have the will to do what it is that you want to do. Yeah, I think the ego is, I think the ego is related to this overthinking aspect, which was not a connection that I made earlier. So I'm so happy that you chimed in with that, Kimmy. Yeah, would love to get more perspectives on this. I think I am overthinking it though. Really, maybe this is just a way of saying that we should all celebrate life more. And again, there's an element of celebrating life that is not dismal, but we're all here for so long, and we all know this. So if we get outside of our overthinking, if we can step away from our own egos and realize that we only have so much time, are you using it in the way that you want to be using it? Are you attending mosh pits in the way that you want to be attending mosh pits? Are you actually doing it? Are you spending time doing the things that you want to be doing? And that's, I think, where that deeper inner voice is. It's saying yes to things that fill you up. It's saying, yes, I am worthy of doing this. And look, everyone has constraints. Everyone has their list of things to do. But not comparing yourself with others and not trying to do what others are doing for the sake of doing it, making X amount, doing X many experience items. I've noticed that our society and culture, we've moved more towards an experiential, I think, value that we collectively value. But even there, it's that you then have to experience something to feel good. It's that you inherently aren't good enough on your own. And yeah, Kimmy's chiming in again. Sometimes we try to control too much, which causes us to overthink. But I agree with Lisa that human connection has to be somewhat lost in this age of social media and put us in a place over comparison versus living. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know if you heard it, Kimmy. Last week I did an entire show on surrendering and letting go, right, of control. That so much we want to hold on to things and we want to control our own lives, but it's something that we just we can't get carried away with. This is one agreement fest. Lisa is saying, I agree, Kimmy, especially social media. Instagram can be so detrimental. So how do we use these tools in a way that is beneficial, right? Because we all know they're tools. And I think that tools inherently could be good, but that means we need to, I don't know, put in guardrails on ourselves. Particularly with social media. Yeah, social media definitely, it's a way of staying connected, particularly with people whom we're not physically close with. But being with people, like there's no replacement for it, right? And when you factor into that of like that's how kids are connecting without actually getting together in person, and people are just connecting online, we're losing some of our humanity in that regard. And we're human beings. I mean, we've been covering that on this program. And that's, I think, a good way. Yeah, getting into the physical realm with people is a way to get outside of overthinking and to let go, to release it, to surrender it, to say, in fact, that this life is a good life, though there are many issues that aren't fair, that aren't good about life, but life itself is good. Strange paradox, I know. Well, and going with that paradox, I mean, none of us are perfect, right? So in knowing that we're imperfect people, right? We all have flaws, faults, failures. But at the same time, life itself is worth living. And living to the best of your capability, as long as you're spending your days, I was going to say wisely, but it's not even about spending time wisely. It's about just spending time and enjoying the ride of life that is this ride of life. And making sure that we're not just superficially getting into our ego and experiencing that. Yeah. Yeah. Such good wisdom from both Lisa and Kimmy. And you're hearing it right here on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening. We're talking all about not overthinking things, but getting in touch, surpassing the ego and getting in touch with yourself. We'll be right back after this break on Raising Your Inner Voice.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroup.llc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi, folks. Paul from Gentilly Brewing. Have you been to our tap room in Beverly, Massachusetts yet? No? What? Oh, come on. All of our beer is gluten reduced, and we make our own hard seltzer cocktails and shandies. And we are dog and family friendly. Always. Our tap room is more than just beer. Pack up the kids and the dogs and come to 59 Park Street and see it for yourself. Or leave them at home. You'll be back. For upcoming events, hours, and to see our current beer list, visit GentillyBrewing.com. That's GENTILE Brewing.com to plan your visit.
What does living a better life mean? and what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to gather your thoughts first, record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com, because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. Professional builders choose Anderson Windows because they are the #1 trusted and recommended window and door brand in the United States. Anderson Windows and patio doors offer beautiful natural wood interiors, low maintenance exteriors, and outstanding energy efficiency. See the complete line of Anderson Windows on display at Moynihan Lumber in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastown, New Hampshire, or visit us at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
Not just another talk show. It's time to be heard. Online and on air. Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Welcome back. This is Raising Your Inner Voice. And this evening, we're talking all about overthinking and what to do with it, what to do about it, ways of getting outside, both literally and figuratively, outside of your head and outside of the house with overthinking. And it's funny talking about the benefits of getting outside and getting into community of any sort, really. I think talking about these benefits is really inspiring to actually go ahead and do it, because it's something that we know we should all do. Not as a guilt trip, but something that we want as far as health goes. In talking about these benefits, it's reinforcing that we can do it. And then it turns into its own cycle, just like overthinking things can be a cycle, right? A downward spiral. Getting outside of our head, getting outside of ourselves can turn into an upward, I guess, spiral. Is that a thing? An upward spiral? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing. Not going to think about it. But getting outside not only ends up being beneficial for us, but I think it also encourages other people to do the same. In fact, when we're connecting with people and actually having true, genuine moments in life, that's benefiting everyone. That's benefiting me, and it's benefiting you, whom I'm connecting with. I mean, just like this program is benefiting me and hopefully you. In being able to get outside of the ego and not taking life too seriously. Maybe that's the issue with overthinking, is that we take life too seriously when we're overthinking. Which is why surrendering and releasing is a good thing for us to do, because overthinking is redundant. I mean, it's unnecessary. So being able to step back from that, taking the deep breath, getting physical, going on walks, getting outside, getting off the screen, right? I mean, that's what the biggest example of this seems to be, is getting off the screen, because when I'm on the screen, I'm comparing myself to others. I'm judging myself, and I'm wishing that I had a life that was as active as others, or as interesting, or as fill in the blank, right? That it's a comparison versus living life. And a reminder to live life is helpful, because that's where we create the bonds, right? That's where we actually create memories and have shared experiences and make life worth living, is by living it instead of overthinking about it. So maybe that's the actual key to not overthink is to live. Oh my, I did not see us going there. The key to not overthinking is to actually go outside and live your life. Do what you want to do, embrace this life, and make sure that you are living and doing the things that you want to be doing. I did not foresee us going here. This is so fun and interesting. And I think in this same way, it's helped me get out of my head by creating these connections. Yeah, this is good stuff. This is interacting in a different way. And it's funny because we're talking about screens, right? And the way in which I've been interacting with Lisa and Kimmy has been through screens still. But yet it seems more interactive and it seems more meaningful, I want to say, than just commenting on a post. That's my perspective on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that. Are there ways in which overthinking is beneficial? That's a interesting question too. I mean, something I was saying earlier was that overthinking, when we're overthinking ourselves, that's a different story than necessarily entertaining thoughts from other people. Because we might think that other people are overthinking when they're just providing a different perspective. And I think that that's necessary and helpful to us in getting outside of our own perspective. And we can really only judge, we are the only judges of overthinking. So you know if you're doing it, I know if I'm doing it. But it's hard to tell you that someone else is doing it unless they really can't get past something. Can there be some benefits of overthinking? Because I think that my assumption here is that overthinking is solely bad, but maybe there are some beneficial aspects. I mean, certainly there are to thinking in and of itself. But what about with overthinking? Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think that overthinking, I'm going to stick with my assumption here in that overthinking and stewing on something, ruminating on thoughts too much, too long, too far, too wide is not beneficial and is in fact preventing me from living this life. And that's what life is for. It's made to be lived. Oh, dear listener, this has been encouraging for me to go ahead and do more programs like this, which is reassuring that I'm on the right track and doing the right things, the things that I should be doing. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. What is the criteria, Kimmy asks? What is the criteria for overthinking versus giving something proper attention? Yeah. Well, I think this is a good question because this will determine whether or not there are benefits. I think that overthinking is when you've gone past a reasonable attention span for something. Because you're right, giving something proper attention is worthwhile. Whereas overthinking, I think we all know when we've gone past that reasonable time that we've allotted for something. So the criteria, and I think it's something that we can only define ourselves. And that's why I think that we can only be the judge for if we're overthinking or something. Because for other people, they may be talking about something a lot, but that doesn't mean that necessarily they're overthinking it. Yeah, you know what? I guess my answer to you, Kimmy, is I'm going to think about it. What is the criteria for overthinking versus giving something proper attention? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to release it, let it be. And that's something for you to chew on, my dear listener, my friend. I hope that you got a lot out of this episode. I hope that you had some fun and would love to have any comments or further interactions. Feel free to leave me a voice message. 617-843-5393 is the phone number to call and leave a voice memo, or you can text the phone number or send a message to jay.foss@me.com. Would love to have your voice in this conversation. Please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about raising your inner voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.